Greetings, YouTube. I found myself pondering something about nomenclature the other day. There's a symbol, and it is the end of most common sentences. It's a little black point. Now, at the end of a sentence, we call that little black point a period. But if you put that point between two numbers, it becomes the word point. If you put that symbol between the letters or symbols of an internet address, it's dot. It's the same symbol. And this kind of falls outside of etymology, so it's not the study of the word dot, period, point. Those words have their own origins. But all three of those words refer to the same symbol. And I wonder if this convergent evolution occurred because that is essentially the simplest symbol you can ever create. It's just doop. That is the simplest symbol you can create on a printed page. There is nothing simpler. And so because it's so simple and it's so easy to use and include in the way we use language, it has been reused in three different ways. And we use it very consistently. I mean, I'm talking about English here. I don't know how this is used in other languages. I freely admit I'm only discussing English. Because if you say 1.23, people are going to be like, 1.23? What do you say, 1.23? They're not even going to blink an eye. If you say www period farc.com, people are going to like, that sounds strange, but www.farc.com, that sounds perfectly normal. So we do it without even, having to consider it because it becomes such an endemic part of our language. Now, the most fascinating aspect of this, I think, is the whole internet address concept, because that is the newest thing. Those addresses evolved within my lifetime. The use of that symbol for numbers and in typesetting for sentence structure, those existed, have existed for centuries. But the internet address that you're looking at right above my video, it's right there, youtube.com something. That's new, and yet we came up with a different term than period or point. Using point or period in the development of that address would have been perfectly natural because that thing had never existed before. So no one had the preconception that dot is the most appropriate thing to put between YouTube and com. So if the first person that ever wrote that thing called that a point or a period, would have phased no one. Of course, dot is shorter. So while reading off that out loud, it does make some degree of sense that you want the shortest word to stick between YouTube and com. So that kind of thing fascinates me. And I wanted to know if anyone out there had ever really thought about the fact that we do have these convergent evolutions in our languages. Now, it's not just our languages. I mean, we see it in nature. But I can think of an example where there is in knife design, there are three different straight blade designs. And they are called the sheep's foot, the Wharncliffe, and the sax or the scram sax. Not to mention the straight edge itself, was like in a straight razor. And all of those designs, the scram sax, the sheep foot, and the Wharncliffe, evolved separately and are considered, if you couldn't call a Wharncliffe during the age of the Vikings, they wouldn't have any idea what you're talking about. But that's what it is. It's the same blade design, but it has got three different names. And so if you're searching for that type of knife, you could use sheep's foot or Wharncliffe pretty much interchangeably, and you're going to end up at the same type of knife if you're looking for that particular blade. I know I search for these blade shapes regularly because it's my favorite blade shape. And new designs pop up all the time. So convergent evolution happens in the real world. It happens in the sense that things that humans do. It happens in evolution of animals and life forms because the same circumstances pop up over and over again. Look at the glyptodon and the ankylosaur. And we see it in language, and this kind of thing fascinates me. So I've rambled on long enough about dots and periods and points. I'm just curious if anyone out there knows why we did that, why we chose dot instead of period or point when it came to inventing internet addresses, because that is a thing that happened within the lifespan of some of the people that will see this video.